In a valley painted with the wildest colors of nature, where flowers bloomed in a year-round spring, lived a tiny hummingbird named Pip. Pip was no bigger than a thumb, with feathers that shimmered like 1,000 tiny emeralds. He was known for his speed, his love for the sweetest nectar, and a heart brimming with a boundless curiosity. One morning, the sky, usually a canvas of brilliant blue, began to bruise. A deep, ominous gray crept in from the west, and a chill wind whispered through the leaves, carrying a warning. The elder birds of the valley, the wise old eagles, and the sturdy hawks, gathered their young. They spoke of a legendary storm, a beast of wind and rain so ferocious that it could tear the strongest wings and topple the oldest trees. They called it the sky render. The valley grew quiet. The usual symphony of birdsong was replaced by a tense silence. Pip watched as the larger birds hunkered down in their nests, securing their homes and families. Even the falcons, masters of the sky, sought refuge in the high cliffs, their sharp eyes filled with caution. But Pip's heart fluttered with a different kind of energy. Beyond the valley, across the formidable mountain range, lay the sunstone fields. Legend said the flowers there held nectar that tasted like liquid sunshine, a flavor so divine it could sustain a bird through the harshest winter. Pip had dreamed of tasting it his whole life. This was his only chance to cross, before winter sealed the pass for good. He approached an old owl, perched stoically on a branch. "I must cross the mountains," Pip chirped, his voice barely a squeak against the rising wind. The owl opened one large, yellow eye. "Foolish child," he hooted softly. "The skirenda is no place for a bird of your size. It respects neither speed nor courage, only raw power. Stay. Survive." Pip then zipped over to a golden eagle, who was shielding his eaglets with a massive wing. "I'm going to the sunstone fields," Pip announced, trying to sound braver than he felt. The eagle looked down, his gaze a mix of pity and disbelief. "Little one," he said, his voice a low rumble, "my wingspan is 100 times yours, and even I would not dare challenge this storm. Your ambition is admirable, but it will be your end. Don't be a hero. Be wise." Everywhere he went, the message was the same. "You're too small. It's impossible. The storm will swallow you whole." Doubt, cold and heavy, began to seep into Pip's heart. He looked at his own tiny wings, beating at an impossible speed just to keep him afloat. They seemed so fragile against the backdrop of the swirling, dark clouds. Was everyone right? Was his dream just a foolish fantasy? He felt a profound sense of loneliness. It wasn't just the impending storm that isolated him. It was the wall of disbelief from everyone he respected. He flew to his favorite spot, a giant hibiscus flower, and sipped its nectar, his tiny mind racing. The world was telling him to give up, to accept his limits. But a small, persistent flame flickered within him. It was the fire of his dream, the vision of the sunstone fields, the taste of liquid sunshine. He thought, "If I stay, I will always wonder. I'll live with the ghost of a dream I was too scared to chase." He realized that the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, was a storm in itself, one that was already raging inside his heart. The choice was clear: face the storm outside, or be consumed by the storm within. Taking a deep, shaky breath, Pip made his decision. He wouldn't try to fight the storm. He would try to navigate it. He would use his size, not as a weakness, but as an advantage. With a determined chirp that was lost in the wind, he shot up towards the darkening sky. The moment he left the valley's shelter, the full force of the surrender hit him. The wind was a solid wall, pushing him back, tossing him around like a loose leaf. Raindrops, each one as big as his head, felt like icy stones. The world became a chaotic blur of gray and black. He couldn't see more than a few inches in front of him. Panic flared in his chest. The voices of the other birds echoed in his mind. "You're too small. It's impossible." He was about to turn back, defeated, but then he remembered his purpose. He wasn't just flying against the wind. He was flying towards something. He focused on a single thought. The next wing beat, whoosed one more, and then another. And another. He stopped trying to conquer the entire storm. Colte. Instead, he focused on conquering the single inch of air directly in front of him. He learned to read the currents. When a powerful gust came, he didn't fight it. He folded his wings and let it carry him, tumbling and spinning, until he found a pocket of calmer air. He used his small size to dart between the raindrops, to fly through gaps in the wind that larger birds would never fit through. He navigated the storm, not with brute strength, but with agility and intelligence. It was the most exhausting, terrifying journey of his life. Every muscle in his tiny body screamed in protest. His heart hammered against his ribs. He flew for what felt like an eternity, losing all track of time, suspended in the violent chaos between the sky and the earth. Just when he felt his last ounce of strength fading, when his wings felt like lead and his spirit was about to break, he saw it. Through a momentary parting in the clouds, a sliver of brilliant, golden light. It was a beacon. Hope surged through him, giving him a renewed burst of energy. He pushed forward, flapping with a strength he didn't know he possessed. He flew towards that light, pouring every last bit of his being into each movement. Suddenly, he broke through. He burst out of the dark, violent wall of cloud and into the most breathtaking sight he had ever witnessed. He was in the eye of the storm. All around him, the tempest raged in a colossal, circular wall of gray. But where he was, the sky was a serene, peaceful blue. And below him, bathed in calm, golden sunlight, lay the sunstone fields. They were more beautiful than any legend had described. Flowers of every imaginable color carpeted the mountainside, glowing with an inner light. The air was still and warm, filled with a scent so sweet it made his head spin. Pip descended, his weary wings barely carrying him, and landed on a flower that shimmered like a ruby. He dipped his beak and took a sip. It was everything the legends had promised and more. It tasted of sunshine, of courage, of a journey that everyone said was impossible. It was the taste of his own hard-won victory. As he drank, he looked back at the swirling wall of the storm he had just passed through. He realized the owl and the eagle were both right and wrong. The storm was too big to be fought, but it wasn't too big to be navigated. Courage wasn't about being big enough or strong enough to overpower your obstacles. It was about taking that next step, that next wing beat. Even when you're terrified, even when the whole world tells you you'll fail, you don't conquer the storm by defeating it. You conquer it by moving forward, one tiny, brave movement at a time, until you reach the calm on the other side. When the storm finally passed, Pip returned to the valley. He didn't boast. He didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't have to. The golden sheen on his feathers and the quiet confidence in his eyes told the story. The other birds looked at him with a new respect, a dawning understanding. They saw that the size of a bird's wings doesn't determine the height of its dreams. Pip became a living legend, a quiet reminder that the greatest storms are not overcome by strength, but by the relentless courage to simply keep going. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of courage and perseverance.